Today we are going to Parkerize in 1903 Springfield. I'm going to show you all the steps required from where we have all of our parts ready to go with our final metal finish on them. I'm going to show you the Parkerization process. We're going to go over all the post Parkerizing and through the assembly, and we're going to show the finished job. So with that, let's get going. All right, in today's video, we are going to start at the point where we left off in video 1. So this is a two-part video, and I'll have the link for part number 1 below in the description. So if you want to go get caught up on that to see all the parts from where we stripped the gun, I polished it, removed all the rust and the pitting and all that. So that's in 1. We left it in part 1 right up to the final metal finish. So that's where we're going to start today. I'm going to show you how I take all these parts from the final metal finish, and then we're going to go through the Parkerization process and all the post-Parkerization steps that we take, and we're going to put it all back together, and I'm going to show you the final review. Now, these obviously are not the guns that I did or the firearm or the rifle that I did. These are just some placeholders that are hanging out waiting for their turn in restoration, because our original 1903 from part 1 is all in pieces, as you're going to see shortly. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all the steel. It's all prepped. It's all been blasted. I have everything at the final finish that I want it at. And now I'm going to put everything on wire. I'm going to wire it up, and then it's going to go into the cleaner. So let me get this all ready to go for the cleaning bath, and we're going to keep moving on with our getting to parking our 1903. And for when we're Parkerizing, all of our hooks that we use are stainless steel. All the parts that we're using, you see me wiring everything up here, that's all stainless steel. The tanks are stainless steel. And when we have any parts that go in baskets, it is all stainless steel. Carbon steel is not the appropriate material for this metal finish at all. Okay, so we have our parts in the cleaner, and we're ready to go into the phosphating Parkerizing solution. And we're going to go out of the cleaner into a warm water rinse and then start phosphating. So on with the program. So even though I used an entire cleaning process prior to the polishing, we still go one last time into a cleaner to just make sure everything is completely degreased and there's no residual oils or anything left in there. And so we'll come out of the cleaner. Like I had mentioned, we go into the warm water rinse to make sure there's no cleaners hanging out on there, and then we go straight into the phosphating solution. And our phosphating bath is maintained at a temperature of about 180 to 190, and parts are in there for about 10 minutes, right around there. And you'll see what you're seeing there is the reaction of the outgassing of the process itself as that steel is taking on the Parkerized finish. So what's going to happen is as that phosphate finish builds up on that steel, that fizzing and Alka-Seltzer-y looking reaction that you're seeing there is going to start to subdue. It's going to get less and less and less, and that's going to indicate that those parts are completed. All right, so our steel has been in our bath now and for our specified amount of time, and we're going to pull those off, pull those out, and then rinse them off and take a look at our results. And we're just going to rinse each and all the parts with hot water for just maybe a minute or some seconds for each one, and then we just take those and we dry them all off with compressed air and oil them up, and we'll be showing you the results of our progress. So okay, we have all of our metal work done and everything, and it is time to now put it back together. So all of our pieces are out in front of us. I'm just going to move some things around here, and we'll get to putting it back together. Now, I did a couple of things just because I didn't want to have to reshoot it. You already see me take the barrel off, so I just put the barrel back on. And the other thing I did was when I took the rear sight completely apart, I put that back together off camera, because Well, those things are quite unique. If anybody ever wants to see a video of just the rear sight on one of these things and how meticulously machined that they were and their assembly and disassembly, let me know in the comments. Maybe that's something that we can show how awesome these sights were on these rifles, which is always what set them apart from military rifles from around the world, was just the accuracy of these things, and a lot of it had to do with the sights and just how good they are. So anyway, let's start to get into putting this all back together. And I'm just going to kind of maybe make some comments and talk along the way. All right, I have my extractor on my bolt, and I put the main part of the bolt body back together. But everybody seen me take it apart, so they all know how that goes. And then we'll just flip that safety back off. All right, I'm back. This is not my normal assembly area here, so I have to bring pieces in with me. So you always want to have small pin punches and stuff for reassembly to line things up so they don't fall out of place. Now, some of these springs in these things are all really similar, so you kind of gotta watch that. Make sure you get the right ones in the right spot. Anyway. All right, now let's work on our rear sight. And you just line that up on its pivot area, and then you just rotate the windage knob and it all will line right back up in there. Awesome piece of engineering, and just the rear sight alone with this, and how your blade, how it's all captured, how it all moves, how it's dovetailed and mortised into that assembly. It's a remarkable little thing in and of itself, and it's pretty awesome. Well, anyway, I find stuff like that to be pretty cool. I apologize if you can't see some of these screws that I'm tightening up. I want to make sure that they go in properly and not have any mishaps. Now, our butt plate that had an awful lot of pitting on it, I'll get like a lot better close-up views, but you can see where we're at with that. Okay, so we have our main subcomponents all assembled, and now it's time to start putting the rifle back into the stock. Just wanted to take a moment and thank everybody for taking the time to watch our videos, like and subscribing them. Absolutely helps our small channel grow, and we appreciate every single one of those. One of the questions that we've been getting, or in the comments that we've been getting, is some more advanced questions on why we didn't show a certain thing or close-ups of it. YouTube has some pretty strict policies when it comes to firearms on what we can show and what we can't show. So I wanted to introduce the possibility to see if it has any value to our viewers on a Patreon page, where we can go and we can actually give a lot more in-depth on some of the nitpicky areas, fussy areas, and all that stuff when it comes to the firearm reassembly or some of the specific work that we do. And especially when it comes to reloading, being able to show you some more advanced techniques on some of the reloading, like the reloading videos that we do. Having a Patreon page there would we'd be able to show you in a lot greater depth and detail some of that stuff that just wouldn't work out well on YouTube. So if you think that would be a helpful benefit to any of you watching and you would like to see that, leave it in the comments below. We're going to go through and we're going to check all of that, and we're definitely, if we get enough response on it, we'll definitely get a Patreon page and be able to upload that information and that data and share a lot more information with you. Thank you. All right, the front sight was being sticky on me earlier, so I put it in there and made sure the dovetail was all clean because I didn't want to have to fight it while I'm putting it back together for the video, and I forgot to take it back out to put our front nose cap on. There we go. Everything is function testing perfectly fine, and we are all good to go. So that's it. That is our completed 1903 Springfield refinishing with Parkerize, and I'll get a close-up completed view of it and photos of it and all that stuff, but there you go. So that's it. There's our completed rifle. It's all assembled, all ready to go. And now normally on something like this, I would probably take it to the range, put a couple shots through it at 100 yards and show how that all works. As of today's date, it's at near the end of January 2026. And this morning, our temperature in Oshkosh was -7, -9, and I am not going to the range in those temperatures under any circumstance. So anyway, we're just going to have to call it good with this. We know this rifle shoots and everything is fine with it. But again, want to thank everybody for watching our video, and feel free to leave your comments and questions below, and we'll do our best at answering them. So until we see you at the range and on a workbench next time, take care, happy shooting.